Just getting set up. Give me a minute. So I'm just going to head to the starting screen again, sorry. Hello again. Hello everyone. I said to myself today, I'm going to start on the starting soon screen. It's always embarrassing thinking about that when people are watching the VOD, the VOD. So I seem to make the same mistake. So that's the goal for next week. So I'm too busy trying to remember what buttons to press between OBS and YouTube. How's it going, everyone? Hello. RS Comics, you've been waiting a while, hopefully he's still here. Stephen, Mark Dockery, Frank M, Justin, Quishy. I'm painting a Psychophage right now, one of my favourite miniatures. I hope you're following my tutorial. Justin, I just finished an Ultramarine. Now base coating the Tyrannid. Yeah, base coating. For me, base coating's probably about 45% of painting a miniature. Everyone's painting a lot of Tyrannids tonight. Alzi, hello. Ryan. It's us at Saint 20. I hope that's how you say it. Hello. How's it going, everyone? So there's a lot of fireworks going off. I'm not sure if you'll hear any of it. Yeah, just because here it's obviously it's Diwali, and then bonfire nights on Tuesday, the Guy Fawkes night. So there's been a lot of fireworks in the shops you can buy, so people go a bit crazy. Ryan just started Blood Angels Army. Adrian, do you usually play or do you just enjoy painting? I mostly paint. But I do like to play as well when I get the chance. I definitely want to do more playing next year. But the stuff for the channel's just a bit busy at the moment. But I think next year I'm probably going to start trying to do more skirmish gaming like Kill Team and Necromunda, just because it's a bit more, like a bit quicker. Am I a yam yam? I don't know what that means. I heard. Did you write that in a comment as well? Someone asked. What is a yam yam? So what's everyone been doing this weekend? Hopefully you've all been painting. Leighton Fisher. Hey man, just want to say your videos have inspired me a lot in my painting, and I especially love your Tyrannid tutorials. Keep making these great videos, brother. I will. I love doing them. I literally wake up every day and I work on a tutorial. And I never get bored of it. I just wish it didn't take so long, because I'm already thinking about 3 tutorials ahead. So this week the tutorial I've been working on, it is another Ultramarine tutorial. I was hoping to be working on Marnie's Calgar for a tutorial next weekend, but he had been sold out recently. So by the time I was able to order him, he didn't come in time. So I did have a backup plan, which is another Ultramarine tutorial. But I'm just kind of doing a mini-series at the moment, just because of Space Marine's still hot. And the Ultramarine video I put out last week was really popular, so it's just proved to me that I still need to do a couple more Ultramarine videos, because people still want them. But the idea for the next Ultramarine video is to paint your Ultramarines in different styles. I feel crooked. Maybe that's just me leaning. Let me get comfortable. So the next video is going to be 3 styles. So my last video was obviously a box art style, which is a lot of highlights, a lot of recess shading, and a lot of work. So the next video is going to be a bit more, I don't know, beginner friendly, I guess. So I'll give you a quick, I haven't finished painting everything yet, so I'm going to be painting 3 Space Marines in the video. I haven't done an update for the Patreon. I'll put pictures up on the Patreon and for YouTube members after this stream when I get a chance, but I'll give you a quick. So this is, you probably won't see, but I'll explain anyway. This Marine here, this is what I would probably call the Duncan standard, where he does a recess shade, some washes, a line highlight for everything. So this is more of like a straightforward beginner approach where you can sort of practice the basics. It's a lot more straightforward than the box standard. The next one, so I'll put it in front of my face, you'll be able to see it better. This one is a contrast method, so it's all contrast, some line highlights. And then the third style I'll be doing, which I'll be finishing tomorrow, as you can see, it's a leaded Boucher undercoat. So I'm going to be doing a metallic style. So if you've seen my Stormcast tutorial, the Astral Templars in that tutorial are painted in a metallic armor. So I'll be doing that style for Ultramarines as well, which I've always wanted to give a go and see how I can approach that. But I'm really happy with how they're coming out so far. And I wanted to do that because previously, obviously the Blood Angels tutorial and the Dark Angels tutorial, I've kind of done the box art, the contrast method, and a beginner sort of method in those videos. But I didn't do that for the Ultramarine video, so this is just kind of like an extension of that video. But it can still be used as a standalone video. It's us at Saint 20. It's someone from the backcountry in the Midlands. You have that slight accent. Oh, okay. Yeah, I am from the Midlands. I'm from Coventry, just south of Birmingham. I've never heard of Yam Yam though. Luke Skywalker, hello. Did you steal that pint glass from a pub like the rest of us with them? No comment. Because I might be watching. But yeah, it's a nice glass. I've got the half pint glass as well for the collection. Owlsy Forbes, just been doing the black bits on my Deathwing Knights. I hope you're doing well with those. Yeah, make sure you put some pictures in the Discord as well. I do look into the Discord, I just don't get a chance to comment sometimes. But I have been looking at everyone's projects, what they're working on, and I think they're all great, they're amazing. But when I get a chance, I'll get in there and I'll make some comments whenever I can. I would put my own projects in there, I just haven't had time to work on my own stuff at the moment. It's only been tutorials, just because I've fallen a bit behind, I feel. But hopefully I'll sort of catch up this week. The one Freeman 91, hey man, good evening, hello. Francois Marion, hello. Your email, you sent me a picture of your knights. I had some issues with pictures getting them from the actual email itself, so I wasn't actually able to show any of your pictures. I'm not quite sure why that's happened. So all I can suggest to you at the minute is please resend an email with up-to-date images, because I'll probably do another one of these in the new year, in the middle of January. So please, because your knight is really good. As well, I did notice you've done some freehand on the leg. I know everyone can't see this picture, but I'm just saying, from what I could see in the email, you did some freehand on the leg, which you didn't take a good picture of. So when you do resend some pictures of your knight, please do a close-up picture of that leg, and I'll make sure to include those pictures the next time I do this in the third one. It's just I was having issues downloading the images from that email. It's happened to a couple of the emails that have been sent as well. So I do apologise. I've tried to make sure I'm sharing everybody's, but that's, as you know, probably by the stream title, that's what we'll be doing in the second half. There's going to be a lot of looking at miniatures today because I want to have a look at the Armies on Parade winners, which I haven't had a look at yet. In Games Workshop, I posted some pictures of the some of the winners for Golden Demon, but not like the trophy winners, the pin winners, the honourable mentions. So I'll have a look at some of those as well. Yay. Appreciate all the time and effort you put into your videos. It really has helped a ton of people with the hobby, especially the newbies that have started because of the new Warhammer game. Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of people are coming back into the hobby or discovering the hobby because of the Space Marine game, so it's really good. So I'm just really glad that I'm able to accommodate and help those people come into the hobby. It's all about setting expectations for people coming into the hobby, because if they come in and they're told it can be done really easily, and when they actually finally give it a go, they might not meet their expectations. So for anyone who's coming into the hobby brand new watching this, please don't expect to like be amazing straight away. But honestly, if you, with the knowledge I show and the techniques and stuff, it doesn't take long to sort of get to a good place in the hobby. It's just the main thing when you're starting out is literally just getting used to the actual process of painting and not actually worrying about highlighting or shading or using washes, but actually just applying paint to your miniatures. Because if you haven't done it before, it's just a weird feeling. So that's what I would say. Just when you're coming into a new hobby or getting used to painting, it's just getting used to it, the process of actually painting. I want a mic stand, but the thing is I've got a really rubbish desk and I'm not able to clip a boom arm onto it, so I have to like just have a stand for my mic in front of me, which covers half my face. It does annoy me. Frank M, yeah, Calgar got bought up after his Space Marine 2 appearance. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to sell out. Arachi Booms, welcome to the channel. So if anyone's watching, they're not subscribed, and they do subscribe and they want to comment, I have put a delay of 1 minute, just a minute before you're able to comment in the chat. It's just, I suppose it's just one of those sort of safety levels to stop weird people coming in and spamming stuff. Yay, how do I send you my half-finished Dreadnought to see using your techniques? So whenever someone wants to send any pictures or show me what they're working on, you can send them to my email, which is contact@tabletopready.co.uk. It's in the description of all my videos with a link, so you can just click that and it'll set up a page. You can go to my website as well, and there's a form you can fill out. There's loads of ways. Just check descriptions. You'll be able to find it. I'm Yam Yam from Dudley. I'm going to look up Yam Yam. Sumus, how's it going? How do I deal with procrastination? Sometimes you just got to procrastinate, to be honest with you. Because if you try and force yourself out of it, it lasts longer. And I always say to people, if you're struggling to create, then you need to consume. So if I'm struggling finding motivation to paint or create something or do something, I'll sort of go and I'll start consuming stuff. Like I'll start looking up pictures and go on Instagram and the internet and just look at what other people are doing, because that usually fires the neurons in the brain and gets you thinking that you want to work on your next project. So if you can't consume until you feel like creating, if that makes sense. But otherwise, you just have to go with it. You can't force yourself. Odal, how's it going? I think we've got some miniatures to show of yours tonight as well. Subliminal, what do you use to seal your minis once you're done? I get asked a lot about if I use a varnish or not once I've finished painting a miniature. For me personally, I don't recommend using a varnish, because the miniatures are plastic and the paint is quite robust anyway, especially if you don't handle it for like 48 hours to let the paint completely fully dry and cure. You shouldn't really need varnish, because the problem with the varnish is it affects the colours and the hues of the paint. So if you spend, say, a week painting 5 Marines to a really high standard, and then you varnish them, you lose all of that subtlety. So you definitely miss out on those chunky highlights, and it creates more contrast between the colours. But a varnish is not really needed. The only time varnish is really used, especially for scale modelling, they're used a lot in the process of applying transfers and weathering for oils. So they're more to sort of help with techniques rather than protecting the paint from use. It's to stop say like oils and solutions that can damage the paint. But for general use and picking up miniatures and stuff like that, the paint is pretty robust, as I said. You don't really need it. Justin, yeah, I would have picked up the Recruit Edition, but only had Titus, and I wanted more Space Marines. Yeah, I think that Recruit Edition for the Titus with a few gaunts was like a limited edition thing, because I had planned on actually buying that. So I'm not sure if I can still get Titus on his own. I'll have to have a look, because that might be a miniature I'd paint for a live stream between Christmas and New Year. Arachi Booms. I kind of want to submit some of my 7-year-old and 11-year-old daughter stuff. Yeah, you can. Again, anyone who wants to send me work in progress or miniatures miniatures that you've worked on, whether they're finished or you're still working on them, feel free to send them to my email. Contact us at tabletopready.co.uk. You can find the link in most places, especially in all the descriptions of my videos. I think there's also a link to it in the YouTube banner and the About page on the YouTube. So it's not too much work to find the link to the email. Again, and if people want to send me stuff, they've got questions that they want to ask, or they want some feedback on their painting, I'm more than happy to do that. Me and my son just started. My wallet is taking a hit, but your channel has been amazing for us to watch, so thank you so much for doing it. I'm really glad. One of the things I really love hearing about is not just individuals sort of painting, but sort of like a parent and their kids painting together, which I love. So I'm really glad I can accommodate that as well. Because personally, I want everybody to get into painting miniatures, or at least just getting into the hobby and discovering the hobby. I just want to make sure that when people come into the hobby, they're not scared off. I want them to stay and enjoy the hobby. And it's not about how good you are at something, it's a personal journey. It's just important about how you enjoy your hobby, especially if you're doing it with kids or brothers or sisters or friends. That's the most important thing, is making sure the fun comes first. Ryan, my birthday next month. I'm going to buy Combat Patrol. My birthday's next month as well, so happy birthday. There's a lot of December birthdays. My birthday's sort of at the beginning of December. Let me know what Combat Patrol you're going to buy. Felix, hello. And Harris, hello. So Harris, thanks for your great and inspiring work. Helped motivated me a lot. I'm really glad. Bo Odell, got hella more stuff. I'm painting now. Painting Kakoka Debon. I'm not sure if I've said that right. From Doom, for my buddy that he 3D printed. I'm not sure what that is from Doom. I know a popular creature from Doom to paint is that floating eyeball with the tentacles coming out with other eyeballs. Yeah, if you want to send me pictures, even if it's not Warhammer, I think Steven's sent in a picture of some stormtroopers which I've got. Mr. Hobby's finished that kind of work, but yeah, it does affect how your finished product looks. Yeah, I think Mr. Hobby, from what I've heard, does the best top coats, so varnishes and sprays. Look, if you are worried, especially if you're working with metal miniatures, I can understand, but just expect the finish of the colours to change, especially if you're using gloss. All your colours are going to become a lot deeper. Any recommendations of good grayscale paints? My daughters always go for fancy and bright, but I'm black and white colourblind. Some of the ranges of paints I always recommend. Vallejo, obviously Citadel, which I use on the channel. There's a lot of ranges, but I would just make sure they are sort of designed for painting miniatures, just because of the consistency and the medium that the paint is made from. But there are alternatives to Citadel paints, but I would try and stick to a paint that is formulated for miniature painting, is all I would say. But most ranges will have a good mix of grey colours. And especially with your daughter as well, you can always try out the contrast paints, because they're very vibrant colours. That's why I really like to work with the contrast paints, because they're very saturated. So if they like their bright, vibrant colours like I do, they'll really get on with the contrast paints. And especially if you're younger, you don't have to worry about how good the miniatures look. You could say, let's work on painting these miniatures with 3 colours. So you could pick out, so if you're painting a Space Marine, for example, you could be like, let's paint the actual Space Marine one colour. Then we can be like, okay, let's paint their weapon one colour. And that's how you could sort of get them started. It's just about the experience and making sure they're enjoying it. Because it's only when they're older and they look back, that's when they'll get into it. As long as the experience that they've had is a positive one. James Dorwood, I was inspired by one of your vids and done some Night Goblins. Yeah, I love my Night Goblin army. I still love that video. I'm trying to find time to work on my Chaos Warriors for a video, but that's probably, I'm aiming for probably for February for a Chaos Warrior army. But I think there's a couple of things I've got left to paint for the Night Goblin army. I want to get another Mangler Squig and 3 more Trolls I've got to get done, hopefully by December. Awkward Shrimp, you're one of my comfort creators, thanks. I hit my hobby wall this month and I finished all my grey minis. I'm taking a break until the 11th. Any hopes for minis in 11th? Congratulations on getting all your miniatures painted. So the things I'm working on, as I say, I'm working on a couple of Ultramarine. I've been doing an Ultramarine video, and there'll be a Marnius Calgar video that I'm working on. So that'll be content for the next, what month are we in now? November. So that'll be the 2 videos for November. December, you're going to see 2 beginner videos for Skaven and Stormcast, because I should have done those by now. It's just the Space Marine 2 was prioritised doing a few Space Marine videos before then, but I am going to be doing Skaven and Stormcast before Christmas. Then after Christmas, I'm going to be doing the Kill Team box, which I'm excited about. So with the Kill Team box, I'm going to be doing the Pallid Hand for the Death Guard, which are the cream coloured armour, because I get a lot of requests for those. And I've already got a green armoured, I've already got like your standard Death Guard miniature already on the channel. So I thought I'll do a Pallid Witch Hand for the Kill Team. And then for the Marine side, I'm going to be doing Imperial Fists, but sort of a new way of doing them, and sort of a revisit for those, because there's rumours of Dawn, apparently. I don't know where they're going to fit Dawn in. Yeah, he just emailed you a picture of my half-finished Dreadnought. Please give me any improvement ideas. I want to be super proud of my miniatures. Yeah, I will. What I'll do is, anyone who sends me emails, it'll probably be tomorrow, Tuesday. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Frank M, I've loved teaching my kids to paint minis. Great way to spend time with them. I agree. Hobbies are important. Caco Demon. Can't wait for Calgar. I'm super. So Calgar, I have got Calgar. He finally arrived. He's still in the box and on the sprue. I probably won't be able to start painting him until next weekend. Stephen, the new Kill Team start with all the previously rare minis is great. Really looking forward to picking that up for the Death Guard. Arachi Boom sent over some photos. Yeah, any pictures I'll be sure to reply to in the next couple of days with some feedback if you want. If you want feedback, please ask for the feedback. Otherwise, you'll just get like yeah. James Dorwood, it's Grincrack's Loot Court and a Squig Boss I've painted. Might treat myself to the Spearhead box once I've cleared my 1k Suns backlog. Nix, welcome to the stream. And then Bo Dallas comes with the guards too. I'm not sure what that's referring to, so let me know. So tonight is going to be looking at a lot of miniatures. So if you are struggling at the minute if you are procrastinating, or if you're finding it difficult to find the motivation to paint, as I said earlier, if you can't create, it's time to consume. So tonight is going to be kind of a consumption of a lot of other people's hobby and what they've been painting. So hopefully this will get those juices flowing. So one of the things over the past week or so, Games Workshop have been doing their Armies on Parade. So we can have a look at some of the entries and winners. And then after this, we'll have a look at some of the honourable mentions for Golden Demon. I think that's what they called them. Honourable mentions. Nix, how do you send a miniature over? So if you you can send a picture of anything you're working on or finished miniatures to my email. You can find links to the email if in all the descriptions, and I'll try and put it as many places as I can, and then just send those pictures over, because I do want to, looking at your miniatures, I do want to make it a regular thing for the stream, because I just enjoy seeing what you guys are working on. I think the rest of the community does as well. So I'll probably try and do one maybe every quarter. So every like 3 months, I'll do looking at your miniatures live stream. Gratimus, thank you for subscribing, and Aratos, thank you for subscribing. I can't hear any alerts, so I'm trying to keep an eye on the alerts. So I think they have, Games Workshop have done a video for the Armies on Parade, which you can go see on their YouTube channel, but we're just going to have a look at the Warhammer community page. So this is Andrea Christini, and this is first place. I can't really enlarge these pictures, so hopefully you can see that well. So here we've got Gloomspite Gits. These are amazing. I think there's some close-up pictures here. It's sort of like a luminescent. I love this style. I wanted to do this kind of style for the Ideneth faction. Sort of like a deep sea sort of creature sort of theme. And this is kind of the idea I had in my head. So I find this is quite a good example of what I'd want to achieve for those. But obviously you get a lot of luminescent fungus as well, which I think is great. So they've applied it to this army really well. And it's something different as well, and it's very eye-catching. They're very impressed. A lot of glazing. I wonder what paints they've used. If they've used specific sort of like paint that's this bright. So I know Rogue Hobbies have brought out pro acrylic sort of paints that are very saturated and bright like this. Maybe that's what they've used. Some Necrons. I'm not sure if these large pictures have been sent in by the actual people who own these armies, but they're a bit blurry. But these Necrons look great as well. I'm a big fan of Necrons. Third place, Ricky Smith. So I have seen this earlier. I'm not sure what army this is meant to represent. I know it says Uruk War Clans, but I'm just confused because it's kind of a mix of Flesh Eater Courts and various other miniatures. You've got a Cities of Sigmar Manticore there as well. But I'm sure if it's categorized as Uruk War Clans, I'm sure it is an actual Uruk War Clans army. It must be really expensive to do like a mashup army, because you do tend to see them, especially at tournament sort of level armies. People like to do mashups. I think a classic one's Karajan and Skaven I've seen quite a lot of. I think this down here, I think that's the Kroot miniature. So they've been very creative in what miniatures they're using. You definitely, like, if you're rocking this up to a game at an official tournament, you're going to be spending half an hour trying to explain what's what. So I'm not even sure War Clans has any kind of artillery, so I'm not sure what they would count this as. I'm not sure how they've categorized the actual armies on parade, so there's obviously different categories of first, second and third, but this is display winners. So I think this is just armies in general. So it's not about the display that you put them on, but I think it's armies in general, and then this might be the display as well. They've got Space Wolves. They've obviously gone for like a grey tone of Space Wolf. I would love to do an Armies on Parade. I'll probably do an Armies on Parade first before Golden Demon. I just think Golden Demon might be a bit out of my reach, to be honest. There's a lot of controversy, so I might just want to avoid that. This one I really love. It's Iron Warriors with a trench board. It's a like a retro army using older miniatures. Just give me a second. I've just got to sort something out. I'll be like 1 minute. Back. Sorry about that. I had one of my cats scratching at the door. Grilbo, your thumbnail for this is pretty funny. Yeah, I always try and have a bit of fun with my thumbnails. And I know that pose was a bit of a meme. I did have that pose for the ASMR, like the figurines. I can't remember the company that does them. So yeah, this army I love. So I'm doing a Black Legion army, and I had the idea of using the Horus Heresy vehicles rather than the new Space Marine vehicles, just to sort of match, just to sort of give a sort of add age to the army, because it's like a 3rd edition themed army. If you've seen my show and tell. I love the colours, even against the like the display board they're on. Here we've got Lord of the Rings. I'm not sure what they're planning with Lord of the Rings at the minute, because I know they did a post in the week sort of saying they're pretty much getting rid of a lot of the range. But it's understandable because they're probably going mainly to plastic. Cheeseburger the second, if you had to play a Horus Heresy army, which legion would you play? Personally imagine you as Sons of Horus player, but keeping to their old military green coloration. Yeah, I would. Yeah, Sons of Horus would be the legion that I pick to collect. Just because they don't exist in the 40k universe, and I love the sort of the green colour. Rafi, hello, welcome to the stream. I do remember, yeah. So this must be Osgiliath, I think the name of the place is. The Lord of the Rings, the train they do for Lord of the Rings is amazing and so detailed. Horus Ascended tutorial incoming. I always look at that miniature and I would do an Ascended tutorial. Maybe alongside a Sons of Horus tutorial next year. Black Templars. There's a few Black Templars. I always, when I see the armies on parade, I always love seeing sort of an interior of a ship for a Space Marine army, or inside a fortress, something that isn't sort of a cityscape, but it's a structure or inside something, which I always appreciate. And that's probably what I would do, because you get creative. Like here they've got lighting in the board. Stephen, the one model I never want to touch is that resin Fulgrim. I'm sure you'll see a plastic Fulgrim by the end of the year. Cheeseburger the second, they are theming the new Lord of the Rings edition around Rohirrim. They even made a mini of the protagonist from an anime based on the War of Rohirrim. Yeah, I would have thought they might wanted to keep a lot of the stuff from the films as well. I know the big focus will be for that film, so maybe they're just making room. And to be honest, though, the miniatures they probably sort of have taken off haven't really sold. So it probably just makes sense for them to sort of create more room for a new range. Did you see Fugan? I'd love to see you taking him with your clean style. I did. I'm going to be working on a personal Elder army next year, in the new year. I would like to do some of the Phoenix Lords for the Eldari. George, do the Horus Resin Primarch usually come back in stock quickly? I see they have been out of stock for a month or so now. To be honest, Games Workshop recently have gone a lot better with their out of stock products. Whereas before, it could take months. Where usually it's only a couple of weeks now. I would have thought the Horus Heresy resin stuff might be a bit different, because that's more the old Forge World sort of range. The only thing I would do is just email them, and then you'll get a notification when it's back in stock. Yeah, if they do new fire dragons, I love the fire dragons. They're probably my favourite. What are the specialist units called for Eldari? A lot of this stuff I don't have to think about. Aspect warriors. Yeah, there's some my favourite aspect warriors. So I want to see some plastic fire dragons. Nix, you've got school tomorrow. I'll make sure you go to bed early then. Don't blame me. George, I saw Horus Ascended and Conrad has been out of stock for so long. Yeah, they're probably going to be popular miniatures. And they've done a couple of big releases for the Horus Heresy as well. The only thing I could say is email them and make sure they know there's interest for it. But I'm sure it'll be back in stock. I think what would be cool as well is maybe for like a diorama or an Armies on Parade is to take maybe one of the covers of the Horus Heresy books or do something like that. Nurgle. Nurgle's always a popular army to paint. I love the Great and Clean one. So many miniatures I want to paint. George, thanks man, love the tutorials and the other guides, help me a lot. I'm really glad you like the tutorials and they're useful. And Rafi, yeah, if you've had a look at my tier list for Age of Sigmar or 40k, there are some miniatures that they do sell that are pretty much dioramas already. So go and explore all the different ranges, because there are a lot of great miniatures out there that aren't just standalone characters. They usually come with like a group of miniatures on a scenic base, or even some of the terrain they do would lend well to dioramas. Seraphon. I love the Seraphon range. I wonder if they'll ever update the Stegodon miniature. This is a Scaventide themed category. I like this backdrop they've created for this army. Something I've seen a lot of miniatures, you'll see it later when someone's shared a picture of a Tyrannid. They use wire to get like a lightning effect or an electrical effect, which always done well. It looks really good. You've got it here as well. I've seen on Instagram there's a lot of Stormcasts with this sort of effect. Stormcast side of the box. I'm looking forward to doing some Stormcasts for the channel. Youngbloods, the Ideneth. So I'm trying not to rush, but I want to have a look at some of the Golden Demon winners as well. So I think for generally everybody, it'll be a great idea to have a go at Armies on Parade, because it's a big thing for individual stores as well. And it's a good project to sort of have throughout the year. So Armies on Parade's always at the end of the year, so you could sort of start the year off with the idea to finish an army for it. Barry Hamilton, as a new starter, what are the easiest Sigmar models to paint and the easiest 40k? I don't think, when you're thinking about easy miniatures, I think it's more about easy styles or easy ways to paint the miniatures. So for example, you've got contrast paints, a great way for someone new to come into the hobby. Or even just learning about painting base coats and not worrying about shading or highlighting, and just sort of taking your time. But you should always just pick the range or miniatures that make the most impact for you and that you really want to collect, because they're going to be the miniatures that you want to paint and put the effort in. Yeah, so Frank M here's mentioned Stormcaster Necrons. I think that's a good suggestion, but that's because you can get away with, because you can do with metallics, you can paint a lot of the metallic colours and then just get away with a wash and a dry brush. But it's the methods that are used on those that make them a good starting army. But you can use those sort of techniques and methods for any of the miniatures you start with. It's just all about the techniques rather than the miniatures that make painting easier. So just have a look at different styles. I've got a lot of beginner videos, sort of beginning. I've got a beginning Necrons video, beginning Ultramarines video. I'm going to be doing Stormcast and Skaven in December as well. And Dwarfs. This is a cool army here. The Knights. Right, let's have a quick look at some. There we go. So this is just the second lot of honourable mentions I've done, so we'll have a look at this one. The Sisters of Silence, Horus Heresy. So this is Horus Heresy. Again, I can't really make these pictures bigger. Definitely a lot of talent in the hobby. Cheeseburger the second hot take. As someone who plays both Word Bearers and Thousand Suns in 40k, trim isn't that bad. Having a good brush and a well covering paint makes all the difference. Yeah, you can trim can be frustrating, but it's just how you approach it, and you get used to those sort of things as well. Barry, I like the Dark Elves in cities. Have you done them before? I've not done them recently. I've done them when I was a lot younger, when they were arranging Warhammer Fantasy Battles, but not recently. Rafi, they're all cool, I agree. Critical Rarex, hello. Woohoo, I caught you live. I just want to thank you for all your tutorials. I came back to the hobby after 20 years and luckily found you right away. Keep up the great work, mate. Thank you, welcome back to the hobby. I'm glad you found the channel. Stephen, Necrons are very forgiving, honestly. If you put some time into getting which style base in, even grey plastic looks good. And Austin Cook, big fan. You inspired me to paint first Archangel Intercessors. Brilliant tutorials. I'm glad. It always amazes me how many people actually are able to use my tutorials to paint their miniatures, which is the main goal whenever I make a tutorial. I don't just want it to be sort of a gimmick or just something to watch. I want it to be useful. And that's always the priority when I make a tutorial is, can people achieve what I'm showing them? And if they can't, then I'll change the tutorial and sort of knock it back until I think anyone's capable of achieving that level. I love the Tomb Kings range. They're definitely an army I've got my eye on. I like this. Necromunda. My favourite miniatures are in Necromunda. This is awesome, look at that. So I think I was saying in the last stream, like the controversy in Golden Demon. And just, unfortunately, not everybody can win. But I'm glad Games Workshop are showing a lot more of the miniatures officially. Because a lot of these deserve recognition. But unfortunately, like, it's a competition. The Emperor would win over Goku. Because Goku isn't psychic. Wanted to ask, what do you use as a palette to mix paint on? The Warhammer World shop sold us like a paper pad that tears off, but it seems to suck the life out of the paint and it dries so fast. I do use a wet palette, but I do use a dry palette as well. So the wet palette I use, I've linked in the description of my videos. You can get it off Amazon. Or if you watch my how to highlight video, I'll show you how to make a cheap wet palette just using a tub, some baking paper and kitchen paper. If that's how you want to start off. And then if you find out you actually like to use a wet palette, then you can sort of upgrade your tool and invest money in it. But I would never invest in something until you know it's something you're going to use. I love this. This is great. I like this idea of like a non-metallic metal Necron. Orcs. This is great as well. I'm sure there's a YouTube video on this. So, yeah, I just wanted to like show what people have been doing in the... and just sort of like what people are working on. I think it's great. I think definitely go into the Warhammer community and check some of these out. But as I say, you can go onto Instagram and see people's efforts there as well. Or anywhere else, and Reddit. But I love seeing what people are working on, just because other people have different ideas to you, so it's always helpful to get inspiration. Ryan, I noticed a lot of your tutorial videos you use Citadel spray cans. Do you not use airbrush to prime them? Just wondering, or is it down to personal preference? Yeah, it's down to personal preference. I think using an airbrush, it's got... if you use an airbrush, I find the primers... so the undercoats and the spray undercoats that Games Workshop sell aren't primers. They do the same job, but the undercoats actually work as fillers as well. So when you're prepping a miniature and you've got a lot of scratches and stuff, it tends to even those surfaces out. So I find it a lot better, and they tend to be a lot more matte. which the paint adheres to a lot better. Whereas if airbrushing, you say like a primer, the primers tend to be more plasticky. They tend to have a bit of a different finish and a gloss, but they're more designed for then carrying on to airbrush over. Whereas an undercoat is better for brush painting. But do your research. Everybody's different. Personally, using the spray can is just a lot more straightforward than setting up an airbrush just to do a primer. But that's just your setup if you're able to use a spray can. But you can even use brush undercoats and primers as well. It's just whatever works for you. Because at the end of the day, you're covering them in paint anyway. It's just the starting point. We'll have a little break there, and then we'll come back and we'll have a look at people's miniatures. So probably just be about 5 minutes. So get yourself a drink and a snack, and then we'll take a look at your miniatures. Back. Hello. Before we do this, so I just want to mention today's sponsor of the stream is TableTopReady itself. I just want to mention about how you can support the channel. So we've got Patreon and memberships. There you'll get updates and you'll see what I'm working on. I try and post as much as I can when I feel like I'm able to give you guys an update on what I'm working on. And I'll always talk about plans for the channel as well. So after the stream, I'll be showing like close-up pictures of the stuff I'm working on for my next tutorial. And the Patreon and memberships, they pretty much get the same thing because you also get access to the Discord. There's quite a few people in there now. There's always people in there showing what they're working on. There's always a lot of great advice in there. I try and be as active as I can in the Discord, but I'm not always. I tend to be working or painting, but whenever I get a chance, I always keep an eye on what people are working on. But it's a great place to sort of show me your miniatures as well and show each other's miniatures. So yeah, the becoming a Patreon and membership for the YouTube, they do give you the same thing. There are obviously cheaper tiers for the Patreon. But there are extra rewards for the higher tiers. So you can go and check those out as well. As well, I do have a print-on-demand store, which is always changing. So I'll just show you some things. I've been buying some things to show you guys. So I do either a glass or a mug, and you can get, so you'll see in my recent videos, you can get a glass with paint water. There's also for drinking. So I thought it was quite funny because there's that meme where you accidentally drink your paint water, but you can get mugs. Again, they'll have either paint water or for drinking. A third one sort of thing I've had is just brushes, somewhere you can put your brushes. So I haven't got a glass for the brushes yet, but I'll add that in there. You've got a notebook. This is like it's dots, so it's not like a line or plane, it's dots. So if you've ever seen anyone do sort of like a bullet journal, you can do that. But there's like t-shirts, jumpers and hoodies. I'm waiting for some to come through the post so I can start wearing in videos and on live streams to show you guys. Look, I understand it's merch and it's a print on demand. The prices aren't too bad. But what I worry about is the post and packaging might scare people off. So at the minute, the fourth wall company that I do the print on demand with, all the products, they aren't all available at the same place around the world, so they'll come from different parts of the world, so the post and packaging can vary. So for example, the glasses, I think they're mainly sort of in the Americas area, sort of like USA and Canada, whereas like the mugs, there's a few places that they'll send it from, so it's a bit cheaper for say people in Europe. But yeah, it's the stuff I don't know how to sort of advertise the merch, because there's like a shelf on the YouTube channel, but I just need to find it, because I obviously don't want to push things on you, but I want to make sure you guys know that it's there and available. But I think the quality is really good. I've tried a print on demand service before, but I haven't been that impressed. But a lot of bigger YouTube channels use this print on demand company, and I'm really happy with how it looks so far. So again, all the links are always in the descriptions of my videos if you want to go check out the sort of the merch as well. And if there's any ideas or things that you think I could do for the store, then let me know. Because they do have options for like keychains and stuff like that, but I have to sort of pre-order those sort of smaller items and sort of prepay for those, which I haven't got a problem with. It's just that there isn't a lot of traffic to the store at the moment to sort of warrant paying for that. But yeah, there's a few ways you can sort of support the channel if you're interested. Obviously, all the content's free. It'll always be free. But if you want to sort of help with the costs of running this channel, because I do this full time, it'll be greatly appreciated. And obviously, if you're in the Discord and you're a member or Patreon, you do tend to get more sort of like a personalized, more experience with me in interactions. MS Paul, a bit of a random question. Did you ever paint Caradron Overlords? I was Googling Caradron Overlords and found an old Reddit post that with the logo. Yes. You can go have a look at my show and tell video, because I showed off my personal Caradron. I haven't done a tutorial for them. They're just my own personal collection that I've painted. I do want to do more AOS tutorials, so eventually Caradron Overlords will probably be in that. Imi Nazvisco, I'm sorry if I've said that wrong. Imi Nazvisco. Great glass and mugs remind me of how I washed brush and coffee today when I screwed. I have a mug and where I have a pot. Yeah, I mean, I've done it as well, especially if I've got a coffee and you can't really tell of the water. I always go to put my brush in my coffee. So I just thought it'd be quite funny as well, just to sort of play on that, so you can have sort of like one for drinking and one for paint water. Stephen, the Patreon also has some behind the scenes videos on previous tutorials. Yeah, there's a backlog that you can go and watch. There was a time where I've done a few sort of commentary on videos. Not many people watch them, so I hadn't done that. So that's a goal as well. If there's more interaction and more people in the memberships and Patreons that interact with these extra videos, I would love to do more sort of vlogs and commentary on old videos where I just talk about what was going on as I was making them. So I might look at that towards the next year, because more and more people are coming into the Patreon and becoming members, which is great. So the more people there is, that although painting content is always going to be free, and say the live streams are going to be free and content from that's going to be free, I can do exclusive content, like behind the scenes content for patrons, for example, which I'd love to do. So yeah, now I've said that. So yeah, you can, and if you do become a member or you super chat during the live stream, I've created special alerts for you, just like when people subscribe. And then obviously if you have a look down to the here, so like last stream, Frank M was gifted a membership, so their name's there. So let's have a look at some of your guys' miniatures. I know Black Sword's from Australia. I know, unfortunately, Black Sword was one of the emails that got sent to my spam folder, but luckily I was able to sort of find it. So it is a bit of a different setup that I've done, just so it's a bit easier. And just check something, you can scroll in. Oh yeah. So for anyone who's provided a social link, I've included all social links in the description for this live stream, and when I create a video from this live stream, I'll also put them in that description as well. But I've only linked to social media where they've posted miniatures or they've created videos for their miniatures. Otherwise, I just feel like there wasn't any point in sharing that social media. But if you do post there, then I have shared it. So here we've got Black Sword. So these Space Marines here, they're their own chapter called the Black Sword. And their Instagram is Black Sword, which is right here. And I love these colours. So you've got green, black, white, and purple. He's sort of shared a few pictures of the Marines he's been working on for this chapter. I've personally never made my own chapter because I'm always a stickler for lore accurate stuff. That's just me though. But I've seen plenty of chapters that people have created, and it's a great exercise for people to do as well. And sometimes you see some chapters and you think, what were you doing? But I think Black Sword here's done a really good job, and it's well balanced as well. Because obviously the black and white armor is the main colours, and then the purple and green are just accent colours. So I'm not sure about the details of how the chapter works, but I'm imagining this would be a company symbol along with the green chest decoration and then the green helmet for a sergeant. But I think the colours work really well, because instead of using the black and white, you could have gone for another sort of bold colour, which might have been too much. Stephen, I do want to do a dual tone tutorial, and it'll probably be the Howling Griffins, but that'll be for next year. So I think after these, well, I'm going to obviously do Imperial Fists for the kill team, but after that I think I'll need to take a break from doing Space Marines, at least for a couple of months. So Captain in Gravis armor. I think this is the new Gravis armor rather than the one that came out in 8th edition. I wondered if you were going to do a power sword, I wonder what colour you'd use to sort of work with these colours. Maybe like a black sword, like a Dark Angel sort of, a dark blade. But instead of doing like a grey highlight for a power weapon, you could do maybe a different highlight, like a Fenrisian grey highlight on the sword. Or if you're going to glaze like I have for like the Grey Knights, I think that would work quite well. The chaplain. I'm not sure what chaplain model this is from. It must be a Dark Angel chaplain. It's kind of got the top half of the chaplain I've just painted, but it's got a different lower half. So this must be a conversion. But again, keeping the same colours throughout the chapter. So this is the Black Sword chapter. I haven't shared all the images people have sent just to save on time. So I've only tried to I've probably done about 4 images max for everybody. But if you want to see more of these, this Black Sword chapter, head over to that Instagram. Again, the link's in the description. And I'm a big fan of the recess shade here as well. And I always think, because I think I've done in the White Scar tutorial, I show how to do, I think it might be a Carrick Stone or Baneblade for the recess shade. Because you do see, say for the Apothecaries, you tend to do a light blue recess shade. But I think like a brown recess shade for white works really well as well. And they've obviously chosen to do gold for the helmets there. Another good decision. I wonder if they've done sort of come into it, sort of do mock-ups maybe in a program or something, helping to choose the colours, or if they've done test miniatures. Scuba Steve. I'm a big fan of Scuba Steve. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, I'd like to see a bit more work on the power swords. I think that'd be the next adventure. Bo O'Dell. So you said you've only painted 4 miniatures, I believe. But straight away, like the highlights for this guy is really great. I always love just seeing a well painted Space Marine, because a Space Marine is perfect for learning the basic techniques of recess shading, shades, painting your base colours and all the different highlights, and even glazing. So the fact you've only painted 4 miniatures, I'm really impressed. You've definitely got a talent and a knack for the edge highlighting, so make sure you continue working on that. Make it a focus for all your miniatures to edge highlight. We've got a sergeant as well. Just paint to this standard as well, it takes time and patience, because you've kept everything neat as well. All your base colours, you've taken the time to keep all the transitions between the colours, where the colours meet, it's not messy. Because the one thing I always try and push in my tutorials is to clean up as you go along. So I do get a lot of the pictures I do get sent from people, or I see a lot of miniatures from newer painters, their miniatures would improve tenfold if they'd take the time just to clean up messy areas and neaten things up without doing anything else. Because it's a very distracting thing to see messy base colours. No, you should be really proud of how you're painting. And your base colours as well are really, you're taking the time to do your thin layers. Because if you look how clean the base coats are as well, there's no texture in there. You're always going to get a little bit of texture regardless, but you can tell you've done a few layers of that. Yeah, and the eye glow. This Dark Angel I really like. I'm not sure which order you painted these in. I see with the lenses here, you've gone a bit more adventurous rather than just having like the glow. You've gone for sort of like the gradient in the lenses. I can tell you put a lot of time and effort into these miniatures, and you can always tell when people have intentionally gone in there to try and do a really good job. You must still be working on this one. You've got it mounted on a block. When you're doing your highlighting, don't be scared of how bright the highlights can be. So I think a lot of people worry about how bright highlights can be. But in person it helps. Especially when you're looking at these miniatures from maybe a meter away. That's why the line highlights help. You're very consistent as well with how the miniatures look. Again, I know you've sent some more pictures, but again, no, I'm looking forward to future projects. I think once you feel comfortable with painting Space Marines, maybe try painting something that isn't a Space Marine and trying to transfer the same sort of techniques and skills over to that. So maybe try and paint what would be a good maybe like a Tyranid as a contrast, because you can get Tyranids pretty cheap as well. Maybe try some different techniques as well, so you sort of cover a lot of different areas. Something more organic, so maybe some Demons of Chaos, or maybe like Kroot or something like that. Something more natural that isn't just hard edges. I think that'd be a good sort of step after you get comfortable painting Space Marines. Luke Brady, how do we send our images over for you to look at? So for anyone who wants to send pictures or images of what they're working on, you can send them in an email. The email link is in the description and anywhere else really that you could think of. If you're a member or you're a Patreon, you can join the Discord where you can upload pictures for the community there, and I always keep an eye on what's going on in there. Are you actually trying out a Chaos Warrior? Yeah, Chaos Warrior would be good because you've got the material there as well with the capes. But always keep pushing yourself. Oh, so you're a pro acrylic user. I didn't mean that to sound like bad. I'm just saying. I've not used the pro acrylics. I wouldn't mind giving those a try if they want to send me some free pro acrylic paints. Just saying. Next up. So yeah, just before we move on, again, you're doing a great job with your Space Marines. Let's be more adventurous, because I think you've got a great talent. Just make sure to keep pushing yourself and trying new things. I'm going to apologise. I'm not sure what language this is. And funny thing is, I tried to figure it out by Googling it, but Google just said it was the Star Wars lettering. And that obviously isn't right. Honestly, because I googled this, I put an image of this into Google and it just sent me back the Star Wars alphabet. I hope this is right. I hope they're Choi, but if not, I apologise. But they do have a YouTube channel. Again, there's a link in the description. It's at the top. I thought it was Korean. I'm not 100% if it's Korean. Again, I tried to have a look. If it is, I'm not up on languages, unfortunately, so I don't want to make assumptions or get it wrong. But if it's Korean, then I'm not sure what it says though. But they do have a YouTube channel, and I did look at their YouTube channel. It's really good. They do painting tutorials on there. Again, the link's in the description if you want to go check that out. I'm not sure it is in English though, but I'm sure it doesn't matter. I love what they've sent me here because they're waifu Primarchs. They're Primarchs if they were waifus. They're obviously 3D printed images, miniatures, but I think they look great. So if they're watching, if you're watching this video or in the future, if you want to email me and let me know where you're getting these prints from, I think it'd be quite fun to have a couple of these myself. I'm a big waifu fan. So we've got Dawn here. And the way they've painted it is amazing. So this is non-metallic metal. So much better than what I could do. And it really fits the style of the character. I've tried to send you my first Space Marine. I've finished. It's free one they gave me at the shop. Working on Tyranids now. Hope it arrives in the email. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the emails as I go along. If anyone ever sends me emails and they want me to comment on them or give feedback, I'm more than happy to do that. But please make sure to ask, because I won't do it otherwise, because I don't want to give feedback or criticism unless it's asked for. So we've got Dawn. Here's a closer picture. I love this style of painting, because this is a more sort of anime feel to it with the saturated colours. There were a couple of, I think there's a side picture as well. The pictures, I'm going to be honest, were a bit blurry, which is unfortunate, because I would have liked to have seen cleaner pictures. But you can see the effort and hard work they've gone in to blend in their colours. I think these sculpts are so fun. They've really done them justice. Luke Brady, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. I'm sorry if I didn't catch you earlier. Again, I can't hear the alerts. That's one of the things I need to sort out. Yeah, I love these 3D prints. So I want to find out where they're getting them from. And just the style of painter, I'd love to see like a Warhammer miniature painted in this sort of I wouldn't even know what to call this style, because it is kind of non-metallic metal, but it isn't. And I think they're working another one. I think this must be Fulgrim. So if you are watching, I definitely want to see more of what you're working on, and let me know where you're getting these prints from. And I'll definitely share them in the future. It's just a gender swap, isn't it? I think it's just really fun. Because I know there's a lot of people out there say they shouldn't, like, they shouldn't be like women, but it's fun. It's just, it doesn't matter. Enjoy the hobby how you want to enjoy it. And again, I love the idea of waifu Primarchs. I'd love to have a whole collection of them. So I'd like to see an update. Frank M. Another email where I had issues with trying to get the images from the email. I was only able to get 2 images from your email. Which is unfortunate. So if you want to try again and send a new email with some maybe more recent miniatures for the future, I'd love to see some. Because I was only able to get this one and this one here. They're the only 2 images I was able to sort of download from the email, which is unfortunate because you've got a great style. So you can go follow Frank M on Instagram. Again, the link's in the description. I'm really impressed with this power sword and the... You didn't say how long you've been painting for. I can imagine you've been painting, you're quite experienced. I'm a big fan of Orthway. Orthway is my chosen craft world. And this is a good example actually, because I've not really done a lot of highlights on this miniature, but it's not really needed. They've done a soft highlights, but it lends well to the style. Again, it's kind of more of an anime comic book style, where it's sort of flat colours. I'm not sure if these are transfers, but you've used them really creatively, really well. I might have to borrow this idea here. And the gems as well. Very talented. It's definitely inspired me and got me looking forward to paint my own Orthway. And Blood Angels. There were more... The eye... So Frank M says the eye is freehand. That's incredible. Really, really impressed. I'll just, for me personally, I'll probably just try and find a transfer. But that's just me. But no, well done. I'd like to see more. If there's any more Orthway you've got, I'd like to see some more. Share them in the Discord. And then you've got, you did send some other Blood Angels miniatures, but again, it's the only one I was able to sort of get off the email. But yeah, you got another one, someone else who's great with the highlights and other techniques. The eyes are very similar to Bo Odell, I've noticed. I really like that, because what I usually do is like a Mephiston red and like a fire dragon bright line underneath. But I really like this sort of yellow colour, sort of really being prominent at the sort of inside of the lens. It's a different way of doing a glow effect. It's more intense. I'm not sure how long you've been painted, if you want to let us know. But no, great job. Again, I'd love to see, if you've got more Orthway miniatures, I'd love to see them. Being an Orthway fan. Again, make sure, if you're enjoying this, go follow them on Instagram, links in the description. So, Camille, I'm not sure if you're here this evening. So this is someone who's mentioned about they're enjoying painting their kids as well. I think there was an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old. I think this is a 3D print miniature. Again, there's lots of great proxies out there. So this is like a zenithal, or what you'd call a slap chop sort of method. Oh, hello. Yeah, so you mentioned you like painting with your kids. You've sent a lot of pictures. I've not been able to share them all, so I've just sort of picked a few of my favourites that I really enjoyed. That I've enjoyed painting since I was a kid as well. So I mentioned, I'm not sure if these are recent miniatures that you've been painting, or they've been over a period of time. One of my favourite units is the Boar Boys. And I'm not sure as well whether it's you've painted them or the kids you've meant. If I've got it completely wrong, I might have mixed you up, but you didn't mention what they've painted or what you've painted, so that'd be good to know. You didn't send a social link either, so that's why I've not got one here. I'm a huge fan of Boar Boys. And you brought out their character as well. And you're not scared of the bold colours. No, you've got a talent for picking colours and getting good contrasts. Because not a lot of people use gold, especially for orcs. But it works quite well against the green and brown. Oh, my mouse is lagging a bit. Night Goblin boss. Oh, the kids are 5 and 7, sorry, not 11. 5 and 7 years old. Now again, a good use of colours. I like the bases as well. So give me a second, I'm just waiting for my mouse to sort of catch up. There's just a little bit of lag, sorry, 1 second. I'm a good, especially for yourself, because obviously the colours are important to you. I wonder if you've ever thought about maybe using like the speed paints or contrast paints As I mentioned earlier, if you've got young kids, they're a great way to get them started as well. Because they're a lot easier to use. You don't have to thin them down with water. They go on really well, even just straight from the pot. And you get great results for them as well. If obviously if you wanted them to start sort of getting more involved with the actual painting. Seeing this made me wish I had one of these. I love it. I wonder if you've seen the recent miniature they revealed as well. I should get all the Christmas miniatures, to be fair. I do like them. I always think about if I'm doing a tutorial on making like a snow globe with one of these miniatures. It might be something I'll do. Just for fun. But again, the colour choices are great. You've really brought out the character. It doesn't need to be complicated. And great job on the stripes as well. Again, you sent a lot of pictures in. I'm just showing some of my favourites that you've shown. And some Seraphon as well. I really like the colour scheme here you've got. The bone and the orange. Which I really like. There is a third one, but I couldn't fit it in this sort of square, unfortunately. Again, great job on the bases. Last time everyone did some amazing bases. It seems to have carried on over. So great to see. Honestly, I love them. Jimbox, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Jimbox, how do you send photos for you to look at? I would love to show you my first one because it was your videos that helped me get it done. So if you want to send pictures of what you're working on or any miniatures you want to show me, there's a link in the description for my email. Contact us at TableTopReady.co.uk. And then I'll be able to see them, or you can become a patron or member and get access to the Discord, where everyone shares what they're working on all the time. As I say, I want to try and do sharing these miniatures maybe once a quarter, so every 3 months. And I'll always try and, I know, but I've got a couple of repeats this time over as well, just sort of a catch up on what people have been working on since. But Camille, please keep on painting. Again, I really like this colour scheme. I might have to borrow it. Yeah, if they do watch this video or watch this lot, I will be making an extra video from all of these showing what I've shown, which I did last time. So make sure to keep posting. I think it'd be fun if you get like an Instagram as well, especially if you've got the kids, you can post on there. And if in the future, when I do this again, I'll be able to share a social media link for you. So yeah, make sure to keep on painting. Make sure the kids are having fun with it as well. Again, as I say, contrast might be a good thing to look at because it's more forgiving and it doesn't take as much time to get these results with contrast. Catalin Popper, welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I've been getting a lot of new members and patrons recently, so I really do appreciate it. And you do get a shout out in the next convenient video, my main painting tutorials. I never do shout outs in the extra content that I make for live streams because I don't consider them main content, if that makes sense. But you'll get a shout out in my painting tutorials, which will be on my channel forever, so you'll be forever immortalized whenever someone watches the painting tutorials. I don't want to feel like I'm rushing through these because I want to give everybody the time it deserves. So if I'm not talking, it's just so I can let you guys look at the pictures and miniatures without me yapping. So Lee Brinley, what stood out with your collection, your miniatures, was you always had them on the display, which I thought was a great idea and something I might think about when I've got more completed projects to sort of display, which makes it more interesting. And with this, the Leviathan sort of miniatures from the box, the Tyranids, I've not actually seen them in the Kraken High Fleet scheme, but they actually look really good in the red and cream. So yeah, oh, do you know what? Something I can do, I forget, is to zoom in. Don't know how well you can see that. I don't feel like I've had to zoom in at the past miniatures, so that's probably why I forgot. Psychophage, one of the best miniatures. This, so as I said earlier when I was showing off the Warhammer community page, this is what I was talking about, so like this lightning effect. I'm not sure how they've done that, so feel free to make a comment and let me know. I'll be interested to know. I know you can buy maybe like, I don't know if it's like lead wire, but I know you can buy like rolls of metal wire. I just think it's quite a good idea. I'm just not sure when you would apply it to the miniature. If you'd paint the miniature first, then do this, or do it as you're painting along. I just feel like it might get in the way. Some orcs. Can't go wrong with orcs. This is one of the backgrounds that I really, really love. It's this cardboard. I don't know where they got it from, because you've got this little ledge here as well. I don't know if it's a pre-existing product that they've sort of turned into this, because it looks like a cardboard version of one of the like a Necromunda board or something. Frank M, if you look, you should be able to go and find out what your perks are for membership, and there should be a link in for the Discord. If anyone can't get hold of the Discord link, if they are a patron or a member, then please email me and I will send you the link. I probably won't. If you can't find it, remind me tomorrow, and then I'll sort that out tomorrow for you. one of the big projects I would like for the channel is cardboard terrain. And I know that sounds silly, but I'm thinking back like the 2nd edition starter boxes, or even the new Kill Team box where they got the MDF terrain. But I'd want to do a project where I can provide images that you can print off and sort of create your own terrain with. But that's like a future project. Last Nas Toll. Hello, I just painted my first Ultramarine with your guide. Thanks a lot. I'm glad people are using my tutorials to paint miniatures. At the beginning of the stream, I did mention that my next tutorial is going to be another Ultramarine video, but it's going to be in different styles. So I look forward to that. That'll be out next Sunday. Yeah, I'm a big fan of your miniatures as well, not just the fact that you've got the backgrounds. It's just something, it's just a personal thing that I'm really into at the minute, is just finding ways to make more impact with less effort, I guess. And one of the things is like printed terrain or using cardboard terrain. This corrugated sheets here, you can do by, you can get like thick cardboard, and if you just take the front layer off, you'll get like the corrugated cardboard, which you can sort of make look like this. But you've got some of the Christmas miniatures up here. Yeah, the Christmas themed miniatures I feel like I've missed out on, so I might have to get myself some. And you've got a conversion here as well for the crew. I love this conversion as well, sorry. Lee, again, you didn't send me a social media link. I do want to give an honourable mention to, I think their name is Alaister or Alaister. You did send me an email, but you only sent me a social media link to pictures of what you're working on or your finished miniatures. You didn't send pictures of your miniatures. So I didn't include it. I just didn't have time to sort of go onto the social media and sort of get pictures from there. But I did include that link to that social media page, because I think it's I'm not sure of the platform you use, but I have included that link in the description as well. So for anyone, just go and check all the links out in the description, and go follow them and just support them in the hobby. But yeah, I love the projects you're working on. That's, again, this is why I love looking at what people are working on, because I've always got great ideas that I might not have thought of, or you might not have thought of. And as I mentioned earlier, if you can't create, consume. Any chance of some AdMech? If I haven't made a tutorial on something yet, just know that I do want to cover all factions. It's just when I'm getting round to it. I'm just at that point where I only really want to work on what I'm passionate about in that moment, because you'll get better results that way. But AdMech is on my list, so don't worry, and Voton as well. My goal is probably by midway next year is to get at least all the 40k factions done. Gymbox, cool, sent an email my first and second minis, waiting for my girls to get a little older, and got some minis set aside for them already. Awesome. Yeah, we need to make sure we get new people into the hobby, especially our kids. If anyone's been sending me emails throughout this live stream or in the when they're watching in the future, I will get back to you. Again, if you want me to critique or give feedback on your miniatures, please let me know, because I won't otherwise. I will only do it if you want me to. Ricardo. They've got some Imperial Guard, some Cadians. I'm not sure what miniature this is from, because I'm not... Is it a... It's the part of the kill team, I think. The Kazakin, or the Kazakin. There's another image of this from the behind, so I can have a look at the cape in a minute. So that's one thing I haven't done on the channel yet, is do like a camouflage cape, which I'm going to be doing with the Marines in the kill team box, because there's a sniper in that one. Yeah, I love this. I love the colours you've chose for the camouflage as well. Really impressed. It's difficult to pick colours that work well together, because even if you've seen it in another picture somewhere, you don't necessarily know what colours I've used. Yeah, but great choice of colours that work really well. Because there's a couple of different ways you can go with camouflage or camo pattern in the colours you use. Obviously, it's where do you imagine these fighting, whether it's urban or in a forest or maybe like a desert or arid sort of setting. Or then you could sort of decide, well, actually I want to choose a scheme that's going to work well against the rest of the miniature. But I think you've made the right choice. You've cut. I imagine this is like a forest or a foliage sort of scheme. Really works well with the creams and the greens already. I love the choice of the colour for the highlight as well. Gymbox, I'll check out the email and I'll give some feedback. Yeah, so this is the kill team. I didn't even know this guy was part of that. I love that miniature. The 2023 Red Gobbo Christmas miniatures on Amazon. I'll have a look. I'll have a look tomorrow and see about getting some. Again, I might, if I can figure out and do one in time, I might do a snow globe video. If I can get hold of that miniature. Pointing at the plasma glow and the power sword. You've done a great job on the lighting, the glow effect. Object source lighting is what they call it. I was just trying to remember what they call it. Yeah, object source lighting, which I haven't done a tutorial on yet, because it's one of those things that I'm scared of. And something I want to sort of practice before I make a tutorial on it. But you've done a great job of it here. And it really helps. Yeah, so well done. And then you're working on some Sisters of Battle. I like this the jar lids to help organize your miniatures. It's a good idea. So Ricardo, well done. Really impressed. Again, someone who didn't share a social link. Stephen S. And you've got another Space Marine here. Again, I said earlier that I really love just seeing someone who spent time working on painting a Space Marine to like the highest level that they can do, I imagine, because they're always a great project and something to sort of practice those techniques on. Because there's nothing better than finishing a Space Marine and getting to a level where you're really proud of, because a lot of the time you can surprise yourself, but it's a really great motivator to keep painting more. Some great highlights, and I can see you've done the different types of highlights as well, and the purity seal with the little ultramarine symbol on there. So I'd imagine something like this, you'd be probably looking at least 2 days, maybe 16 hours to do. I like how you've highlighted that, the chest decoration as well. Really clean. I struggle to highlight the chest decoration. I find myself having to do a bit of cleanup at the end. But I like at the tips of the feathers, you've done almost like a spot highlight. That's actually quite a good idea. Something I'm going to think about. I hope the mic isn't too close. I'm not peeking. Oh, Stephen S, are you Gymbox? Oh, no, you mentioned your own. Yeah, so I got a bit confused. So Gymbox, yeah, I took 14 hours on mine, and it doesn't look that good. You'd be. I bet you if you showed it to someone, they wouldn't think that. But great job. I see you've hollowed out the barrel as well. Oh, hang on. Let me just check on, I think. I might have messed up here. I think there was another picture from Stephen S, but it seems like I've put the same picture twice. I think it was just the back of this miniature though. So that's my bad. I accidentally put this picture twice. But yeah. Stephen, if you do end up watching this in the future, or if you're watching now, great job. You should be really proud. Keep pushing yourself. I'd be happy if this was my miniature, honestly. Stephen Troughton Smith, a long-time supporter of TableTopReady. Always supportive in the community as well. So there's two images and some of your miniatures of my favourites that you've done. This is definitely one of them, but as a bias of really liking retro schemes. I'm pretty sure that some of the have you painted anything recently? You'll have to let me know how recent these are. But Stephen is a great highlighter. Stephen paints like I paint, just like naturally. Even if you weren't, say, following any of my tutorials, You just have that approach, I think. Because you're good at the colours. You definitely need to paint more. Let's get up close. Yeah, just you're definitely great at highlighting and keeping everything clean. So these there's some stealth suits for the towel. This is an old colour scheme for the towel, if I remember. Or is this a colour scheme you've done yourself, I wonder? Yeah, this great highlighting. You should definitely just paint some more. If I was going to give some criticism or feedback, and if you wanted to push yourself a bit more, I think you need to be a bit more adventurous with your definition. Because I feel like there isn't enough contrast. So for the recess shading on the Death Guard, for example, you could go a bit darker. So that's really going to bring out those highlights you've worked so hard on. That would be my only feedback. Because here you've got the definition down. Because I had that issue with white sometimes, where I don't go dark enough. And if you don't get the contrast right or the definition right, the highlights don't come forward as much. So for the smoke, whenever I do smoke, it's just an awkward detail to paint. So I always tend to resort to contrast paints. And then just sort of, you can blend a nice colour then, and then just do some simple highlights whenever you're doing sort of smoke or flames. It is on my list to put into a future tutorial. It's just get into a miniature that has this detail. I wonder if I've done a tutorial with flames in them. No, I don't think I've done any sort of flame tutorial at the moment. I'm thinking back to Sisters of Battle, but I don't think I have. But yeah, your Fire Dragons and the Space Marine with Gene Steel are probably my two favourite things that you've shown me here. But again, on here, the Fire Dragons, because the recess shade is a bit stronger, the highlights do more work. And if you want any help or you have any questions, or feel free to always ask, especially in like the Discord. But you can only get better by painting. Francesco, where can I send you photos? So anyone who wants to send me pictures of what they're working on or miniatures they've already painted, feel free to send them to my email, which is linked in all the descriptions of my videos, or a lot of other places that you would expect to find it. And then just attach pictures to the email. I'd love to see them. Yeah, great job. I wonder how long these guys took to paint. I feel like Stephen would be more of a competition painter. No, great job. I've always been really impressed. You can't tell. So Stephen says these are really quick to paint. No, well done. Next up, we've got Dylan Carl. So Dylan Carl was someone who we looked at miniatures last time. So they've just updated us and sent us a recent miniatures they've been working on. So they've been working on the Night Lord's kill team. Yeah, so Stephen, I think maybe look at some local competitions to maybe enter more local competitions at stores. I think that might be some good motivation for you. Yeah, so Night Lords. People love Night Lords. And I know you mentioned in your email as well, you weren't too happy with the lightning effect, but I think you've done a great job on it. And I never know how people do these sort of blood effects on weapons. Chaos Space Marines are always awkward to highlight, especially because you think to yourself, do I highlight around the rims or do I leave it? Do I just stick to the edges? So I think that's just a personal choice. But when you highlight around the trim, I think it does add to the miniature. So with saying this is Yoo-Hoo glue, I think I have seen that. I'll have to investigate. Oh, I think I might have accidentally done the same picture again. There was a big picture of the back of this, so I've messed up a little bit there, so sorry. But no, this is a great update of what you've been working on. And for anyone just sort of worrying that they're not... So for example, like this lightning, if you've done it and you're not happy with the results, don't feel discouraged. Just be glad that you gave it a go. Because I'm really impressed with this lightning effect, because I struggled with this as well. Because you're working with areas that are very small. And to be able to sort of get the detail of the way you've painted these lines is impressive. And it takes a lot of control. There's a lot of things you can deal with when doing this. And I dealt with it as well, is your lines are too thick. or the lines are too smooth, for example. I think you've done a great job in getting a lot of character in your lines, and when you look at it, you definitely know it's lightning. You don't look at it and go, well, what's that? So it's recognizable and readable as what it should be. So if you're watching, you should be proud of that, because it looks like lightning, and that's what's important. And I'm betting you any money, you try and do this again, you'll improve, because you've already given it a go and you would have learned from just practicing. So keep pushing yourself, and anyone else who's trying these different effects like this, a lot of it, you can finish, when you finish doing something like this, you may not be happy about it, but it's because I don't know how you describe it, but you're never happy with what you've created. It's like perfectionism, I guess. But just the fact that you're trying these techniques is what's important. So you should be really proud of doing this. And the highlights as well. Oh. Okay, I think this is the last one. So Mark Scott, again, this is someone else who I shared pictures of their miniatures for last time. We did see some pieces that they were working on, but they've finished their Space Marine now. If I remember, they're very new to the hobby, and they're sort of approaching the hobby one miniature at a time as well. Yeah, Jimbox, an artist is their own worst critique, I agree. But as long as you don't give up. It is healthy to sort of expect more from yourself, but don't let it discourage you. Just use it as fuel for your next miniature. I just wanted to show a new sort of miniature that they've been working on. I think this is great. I like how you've gone yellow against the blue. And that power sword, I think they had a Space Marine champion last time that they did this lightning effect on. I'll zoom in. I'm still working on trying to perfect my ability to do this. So like the Night Lord miniature, it's the same skill and technique. But I love the bold colours. Again, the past couple didn't have a social link, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to share it. But a lot of great techniques used here. If anyone's missed the last stream where I shared miniatures, I did. The live stream's still up as a VOD, and I did make a standalone video showing it all as well. If you want to go back and look at that. So Jimbox, how small the writing on the scroll looks is great. Always feel like my scroll lines are too thick. So whenever you're doing this, it's the same skill as line highlighting. So that's why it says it's always important. The line highlights are always important to practice, because it improves your brush control and your hand-eye coordination, and you can do stuff like your lettering on your purity seals, and it means you're able to do stuff like this of painting stripes freehand, or the checkers here. It's the back of it and the cape. And I see you've got some texture lines here as well. It's subtle, but you'd notice it. And doing these texture lines here just helps add, it separates those textures out from the armor, so it makes it more readable as material, or a different material to the armor at least. And it's this stuff that when they're judging in competitions, they'll look for this on your miniature. Creating different kinds of textures on your miniatures. So Owlsy Forbes, whenever I've done a model, I look at it and think, I could have tidied that up a bit more, or spent a little bit extra time on it. Definitely taking my time on my Deathwing Knights, even if I've messed up the primer. Yeah, just always aim to finish a miniature, even regardless how you think it's going to turn out, because you're going to learn a lot more than just giving up and starting again. Because what if you just keep getting to that same point and just giving up? It's better if you just build that experience up, because your next miniature is going to benefit from that. Always finish your miniatures. Always. It's better than just restarting all the time. That's why I'm not a big fan of stripping miniatures. Well, not unless obviously you've bought some miniatures off eBay. Because I went through a period where if I wasn't happy with the miniature, I'd stop automatically and want to strip it and start again. But I had to sort of stop myself from doing that because I wasn't learning anything. Instead, I then chose to just tank it and push on through and make sure I just finished the miniature. And I just found up the whole process of learning to paint just sped up. So that was the last miniature from Mark Scott. Again, a lot of great miniatures. If you have sent me an email and you've not seen your images here, it's most likely because I wasn't able to take the images off the email. So please resend emails to me, and make sure there are images of your miniatures attached, because I can't go and look into social medias and then spend time choosing what pictures to show. I'd rather you choose the miniatures for me to show. Yeah, it's good to see the progress as well from miniature to miniature, and you can see the improvement. So another great batch of miniature painting. So again, if anyone wants to share what they're working on, please send it in an email. If you want me to give feedback or critique, or if you have any questions, include that in the email. I'll probably do another one of these end of February, beginning of March, just to let more people sort of work on some projects until then, and then you can send them in. But again, if you're a patron, or I wouldn't know what would you like to be called? A patron. So if you're a patron or a member, you can join the Discord, and then obviously you can upload and share your pictures there. And you can join the Discord for £2 a month through Patreon, but you don't get a lot of other perks. I don't think I'm ever just going to do a 2-hour stream, but I do love doing these. So I think we're going to call that there. It's been a lot of fun sharing all these miniatures. I want to do some more painting. If you missed earlier, I'm currently working on some different styles of ultramarines that I'm painting. So my last video was sort of a box art style that you would see on the box, which is my usual style that I paint to. But for the next video, I'm going to do, you'll see a more simplified ultramarine with just some highlights simple highlights and shades, sort of more beginner friendly. What I would consider a Duncan standard, because he was the first person to sort of do an ultramarine painting tutorial for that level. I've also done a contrast. I know you can't see it. I've not shared images to the Patreon, so I'm not too eager to make sure you see these. I just want to give you a tease. Contrast with simple highlights again. And then one tomorrow that I'm working on is going to be metallic armor. So that's what I'll be working on tomorrow. And then that's the tutorial that's going to be up next Sunday. And then after that, I'll be a Marnis Calgar tutorial. And then I'm going to be doing Age of Sigmar, a couple of Age of Sigmar beginner videos. Insus, I'm not sure how to say your name, so Itsus. I've just ordered the paints to do the Tyrannid, like yours. Love the light, clean, pastel style colours. Yeah, I love the painting tools. The Tyrannid painting tutorials are some of my favourites. So, thank you everyone for joining me in this live stream. It's been a lot of fun again. I love talking to you all. Thank you to all those who have sent emails for their pictures, the miniatures they're working on, for all those new subscribers and new patrons as well that I tend to get while I'm live streaming. So thank you again. The next live stream is going to be in a couple of weeks. If all goes to plan, you'll see it'll be the launch of a new channel. If all doesn't go to plan, I'll come up with something else, and then the stream after that will be a launch of a new channel. Andy, thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to call you Andy from now on. I'm just not sure how to say your username. So Andy, thank you very much for coming in and being a good chatter. And thank you everyone else as well. The new plan, every time I make a video for these live streams now, I won't release until just before the next live stream. Because usually I'd put it a couple of days out, it's that time of night, my brain's dead now, sorry. So, in the past I've put the extra video from the live streams out a couple of days before the painting tutorial. But now I just want to spread it out a bit more, and I'll put that video out probably the Sunday I do a live stream, but sort of earlier on the day, just to sort of spread out the content. So thank you again. Please continue painting. There's a lot of talented people out here, and I do want to see what you're working on. So make sure you use the links, check out, and make sure to check everyone's socials in the description as well. And I'll always include those as well if you send emails with the images, but I'll only share the socials if you're posting Warhammer content on there. So again, thank you very much. I will see you in the next video, which is going to be next Sunday, and make sure you come and join me for the next live stream as well in a couple of weeks. I'll see you all later.